I'm John, and tonight I want answers about sexual harassment, expelling a senator, and an embassy in Jerusalem. There's no stopping us now, because we're live.
John wants answers. John wants answers. Give John answers. Give John answers. John wants answers. John wants answers. Give John answers now.
Check your calendar. If it says December 14th, 2017, then we're live. Last show of the year.
Yes.
Next time
Yes.
you see us, it's going to say 2018 on that.
Yes. If we make it.
If we make it that far?
Yeah.
Is there a prediction that the world will end?
It's always a possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Now, so maybe more than
It would be especially embarrassing if you had just promised
promised another year.
that there
of
would be
shows,
another year.
And we all
then-
died.
Yeah.
And the afterlife, they'll be like, hey, John, remember that time you said
Yeah.
we'd be back?
Yeah. Bad news, John. There's no afterlife.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, don't be ridiculed.
Sorry.
I will not be ridiculed for the rest of eternity. So this works
No. Those could both be true, though. Like, the world could end. Eventually, the aliens come down. Then they find the extensive archives of the show.
Right.
And then they spend the rest of all time ridiculing us.
Okay. If you haven't noticed yet, my co-host tonight is the legendary Keith Stattenfield. Woo.
I don't think I'm legendary.
Oh,
Like when I was young, I made a T-shirt that said "a legend in his own mind" because I thought it was funny. But in retrospect, what I realized is I was just confirming everyone's bad, nerdy thoughts about me.
you had a
Yeah,
sad
it did
jump.
end well. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We'll be taking your tweets. You can tweet us during the show at John Wants Answer.
We're not going to take them. We're just going to read them.
We're going to read them.
Yeah.
That's what I mean when I say take
I
them.
know. I'm just being clear.
We'll read them. Or if you don't like doing that, you can go to johnwantsanswers.com and you can send us a message from the website.
Yeah, yeah.
And we'll also read those.
Okay.
And I'm going to take them too. I don't care what you say. I'm taking their emails. The opinions stated here are my own and not necessarily those of my employer.
Good going.
My employer's in the cloud.
Wow.
All right. Let's see the topics for tonight.
That's not the topics.
No, that's Keith. All right. Tonight we have harassment, Canadian wildlife, senators, diplomatic mission, allergies, and finally, creepy or hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. Great topics.
So, Keith, which one do you want to pick
Creepy
first?
or hilarious for 200, please.
All right. And the answer is, well, the question is, sexual
Yeah.
harassment.
This is going to be really creepy.
I'm imagining right now there is a piano playing, and we cannot hear it in this room. Okay. So, I have good news for you, Keith.
Yeah, yeah,
The results are in. I have the results right here.
yeah. Is this that bogus sexual harassment thing you've been cooking up all week?
Well, we finished the investigation.
Yeah, yeah. Investigation.
Right? And so, there's allegations.
No, there aren't. No, you're just
on
totally
the show
making this up.
That there is sexual harassment. And so we looked into it, that you were sexually harassing our director. But the investigation revealed, this is good news, it was not unwanted. And then it also revealed that you are married to our director.
I am married to the director.
Which was a big surprise, because when we started this show,
I was
I
not
don't
married.
think anyone thought you would ever get married to the director. And we started the show, it was you, the director, and me. That's the only people here today who were around for the first episode.
Yeah, but we had been dating for 27 years, so it was not like...
Even more reason to think you're never going to get married. A lot of people would do it the first three.
We were just waiting to make sure it worked.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, so far it's working.
All right. So, all kidding aside, sexual harassment's a serious issue.
Yes, very serious.
Don't get the wrong idea. I'm not trying to be, well, I was being glib at first. Now I'm
You
not
were.
going to be
Yeah,
glib.
you should not do that.
So when I first read the headlines about like these,
Harvey Weinstein.
well, not so much him, but like the newscasters
Spacey?
and Kevin Spacey and like the
Like Bill O'Reilly,
Lauer guy,
Matt Lauer.
Matt Lauer, and the Tavis Smiley.
Oh, that was just today. Yeah,
That was
Tavis
just
Smiley
today.
was just today.
good thing. See, we're live. You get the fresh news when it happens. I thought it'd be like a case of like a man compliments a woman on her sweater, or maybe he asks her out to dinner a few too many times. But no, I was surprised. These were guys
Actual terrible people.
taking out
Doing
their penis.
actual terrible things.
Yes.
Yeah. Men are terrible, as
Men are
it turns
terrible.
out.
Yeah, it turns
Yeah.
out.
I mean, you know that.
Well, yeah, I've heard that men are terrible.
Heard, huh?
Yeah, like I'm quite a gentleman. Like even Al Franken, that was disappointing. To hear that Al Franken did this because, as a politician, I respected him, and I thought he was doing good work.
I shook his hand in Madison, Wisconsin in 1988.
Oh, really? What was the occasion?
He was stumping for a guy from Minnesota that was running for
Okay.
president. It'll come to me.
Was he even in SNL yet back then?
Yes, he was still, well, I don't know if he was on SNL that year, but
Okay.
he was a writer at SNL for many years.
Oh,
on and off.
Was he himself famous yet?
Yeah, I mean, I knew who he was.
I don't know if
when
I-
I saw him on the street, I was like, it's that guy from SNL
Oh, okay. So he's
in that skit with that other guy from SNL. Franken and Davis.
I don't really understand how taking out a penis, a guy would think that is the way to go.
I'm mystified.
In my
I'm with you.
experience, that's the last thing a woman wants to see ever.
It's up there.
Like,
well,
even if they're having consensual sex, she doesn't want to see that.
okay.
Yeah. So I don't understand the reason.
We're learning more and more things about you every show.
I don't understand the reasoning why a man would decide.
I got nothing.
Yeah,
I mean,
we don't get it because we're
we don't get it. I mean,
not that kind of a guy. We're not that kind of guys.
well, I mean, there are two possible reasons. First of all, kink is hard to describe.
Mm-hmm.
Some people might be excited by the act
Yeah.
and that it is gratifying enough to them, even though they know it's the wrong thing to do.
Like that comedian.
Louis C.K.
Louis C.K. I guess he enjoyed just showing it.
And also, people like to believe they have power over other people. And if you think, well, I can do this and you can't do anything about it, and you can't tell anyone, and no one's going to believe you if you do, and I am just going to do what I want to do, and to heck with you, that's probably also a significant rationale on the part of the people that do it. I don't think either one are acceptable
Sounds like a monster.
things for people to do, but Lord knows we have ample evidence that it has happened many, many, many uncountable times.
So a lot of these people, as it's coming out these days, are fired from their jobs or forced to resign or whatnot.
Yes, hopefully fired
Should people
with extreme prejudice in
guilty
some cases.
of sexual harassment be determined to be unemployable? Like, I agree there should be punishment, but then to say, well, this person's now fired from every job and cannot be hired in his lifetime, that seems, I don't know, extreme. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a toughie. I mean, I do not feel bad if Matt Lauer never works another day again in his life.
He
Because
seems to be
Matt Lauer
wealthy
is
enough that he
wealthy
could be
enough
okay. Yeah.
and did bad enough things and is prominent enough that the stigma, I hope, follows him for the rest of his life. I do think forgiveness is a thing, and everyone has done things in their life that they are not proud of,
Yeah.
that upon reflection make them realize that they could have done much better, that they have hurt other people or broken the law or whatever. And to that extent, people need to be able to move forward. But I also think that there's a bar that is some height, and if you have done stuff repeatedly, more than that, I don't feel bad if you're not working again.
Yeah, yeah.
And if people speak badly of you the remainder of your life.
Now, I don't want to be guilty of committing sexual harassment. And I'm worried because, like, when I go on a date with a lady.
Wait, you want to be guilty?
No, I said I don't want.
I don't think that's what you said.
We'll have to rewind the tape. But okay. I'm saying I don't want to be guilty of sexual harassment. But in society, society tells us in a dating situation, it's the man's job to make the first move.
Well, yeah, but
So
maybe.
Like, now, if I try to hold hands with a lady and it turns out to be unwanted, now is that harassment? Like, and if I get the message back right away, that's, hey, no, I don't want to do that, and I stop doing it, then am I okay?
I think in practice, consent is an important thing. And
but how do you get consent?
Well, you use your words, people. You use your words.
I don't think a girl wants to be here. Can I hold your hand?
Nonetheless, perhaps that's the appropriate thing to do in order to ensure that you have consent and have talked about things.
I've been accused actually of the opposite, of not being aggressive enough.
Well, again, it is interactions with people are tricky, and often there is not a perfect thing that is always correct. But err on the side of ensuring that you have received enthusiastic consent from the people you're trying to do stuff with.
Not just consent,
now, I think
enthusiastic
I think
consent.
holding hands is maybe the lowest end of that.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people have had their lives ruined from the occasional errant, unwanted hand holding.
Right.
And I'm hoping that your romantic encounters have occasionally moved past that
That's as
to
far as I've gotten so far.
situations where enthusiastic consent would again be a good thing to obtain.
I remember I was in camp, in Bible camp, growing up.
Okay.
And
say no more.
I misread the situation, and I held a girl's hand for longer than I should have.
Yeah.
But that's all we'll get into that today.
Lots of stuff happens at Bible camp.
That would be a great topic for Creepy or Hilarious. Okay.
I thought we were doing creepy or hilarious.
We don't have time today, because now we have to go back to the topic board. Let's see what we have. What do you want to do next?
They took the wrong one off. It should be we do the creepy or hilarious for. Let's do Canadian wildlife.
Oh, for 200. Let's see what we have here. The Loon.
The Loon. That's a long title card.
Okay, here we are.
Oh, look, it's.
The loon is also called the Great Northern Diver because of its ability to dive and swim long distances underwater. It does this to catch the small fish, which are its main food, or simply to evade its enemies. The loon's legs are so far back on its body that movement on land is slow and awkward. So the nests are very close to water. The calls of the loon, and it has several calls in its repertoire, have come to symbolize Canada's wilderness because of their lonely, haunting quality. For a more complete story of the loon, why not contact the Canadian Wildlife Service in Ottawa?
Wasn't it?
And we are back. We're going to take your tweets.
Tweet.
We have received a tweet.
Yeah, it's one tweet, people.
So far, one tweet. More could come in while I'm talking to you.
Coulds the operative word here.
So our director says, Loretta Beavers.
Yeah. She's
Your
a hottie.
wife. She's your wife.
Cute.
I'm disappointed that you're belittling the terrible experiences of women and men who have been harassed. Did you think I was belittling their
I
experience?
don't know if you were, but you
We're
might
saying how
be.
terrible it was that these men were doing these things. I don't want to make.
I'm just
light of
telling
it,
you,
but-
people are making judgments based on things like topic selection.
Okay, well, let's just say that I do not condone sexual harassment. I think it's terrible. I think what these people went through is terrible. And the men who did this are monsters. There you have it.
And all of us have to do a better job of making sure it doesn't happen
Yes.
going forward. And that
Yeah.
means you.
You and me.
You in particular.
Me in particular? Why me in particular?
Because you're a famous celebrity.
You're on a famous
I'm just a
show.
guest. I'm just an expert.
Okay, we got an email. Now, I tell them when to go to the website,
Yeah.
send us an email,
Yeah.
and I'll read it.
And
I
apparently
got-
someone finally did.
I got one. It says hi. That's 2 letters, hi.
Hi.
Now, something else might be wrong with my programming because I don't know who it's from.
Yeah.
It says from me.
Yes,
and it says
from
to me.
John,
And I didn't write this. So someone out there, well, hi back at you. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll look into this a little later and figure out how to fix it. Oh, I think if I reply, maybe it'll tell me who.
No, it's going to go back to you.
If I say, I might have a reply to field.
What?
Oh, it is. I know who it's from now.
And
Hi. Okay, that's all I'll say about that. All right, let's go to the topic board. What do we have next?
senators for 200. Shouldn't you mix them up occasionally? I mean, it's always those top 3 for 200. I mean,
Yeah, well, how else would we do it?
you can move around. I mean, you could put the columns in different orders. You could.
The columns are all in different
I could
orders.
fake pick senators for 600 this week.
All
What senators
right.
for 600? Senators for 600.
Senators, what's your topic for senators? Expulsion! They cranked it up over there so I can hear the piano.
Yeah.
All right.
That's nice.
There was an election
There was.
because Jeff
There
Sessions.
were a bunch of elections.
Well, in particular, a big election on Tuesday.
Yeah, in Alabama.
Jeff Sessions left Alabama to become something else. He was a senator,
Attorney General.
Attorney General. So he was a senator for Alabama,
Yeah.
and so then he wasn't.
Yeah.
Who was voting for him? How did Alabama vote? Well, Jeff Sessions was gone.
The governor appointed a guy named Luther Strange
Okay.
to serve in the
out.
seat until the special election.
Okay.
And then Luther Strange also ran in the primaries for the special election to try to retain the Senate seat he'd been appointed to. And he did not finish first in the primary.
Roy Moore did.
Roy Moore finished first. And so Luther Strange did not have the opportunity to continue to serve out the remainder of Jeff Sessions' seat.
He just was able to serve up until.
But he is still
there.
the senator from Alabama at present.
until January, I guess.
Yeah. I
Because
believe he is a senator until the Senate
swears in the new guy.
seats in the replacement senator, person that won the election, which tentatively might happen in December or January.
I think I heard January 3rd.
Well, January 3rd is a good guess because
Yeah.
that's when the Senate comes back into session. But if they were, I mean, the election won't be certified until late December, plausibly at the earliest.
So the Republican Party, after this, news came out about Roy Moore
Yeah.
after the primary.
And
a lot of
yes.
people thought this is not the guy we want, including Republican Party people.
yeah,
Even this is after he won the primary, so they were kind of stuck with him.
they had few options for replacing him in the special election.
He was terrible in a few ways. The big deal that came out was he liked to date little girls.
But to me, that's not why that's not the biggest reason he's terrible. But yes, to many
Like the-
people,
Date little girls when he was in his 30s. He thought homosexuality should be illegal.
yes.
He thought that Muslims should not be allowed to serve in Congress.
Well, non-Christians.
Non-Christians. And he spoke favorably of slavery. That's what I heard.
He didn't speak favorably of slavery. That's not.
That's what NPR told me.
He,
I don't know.
he said America was at its best. at a point in time when slavery still existed.
Did he say that in particular? Like
He didn't
we
in
had it best
particular say that
during slavery?
slavery is what made it best,
Okay.
or that slavery itself was
I guess you can
particularly
twist it.
good. But I think a lot of people would say definitionally America can't be at its best when
Yeah.
20% of America are slaves
right.
owned by other people.
So here's my big question. If he had won, there's talk in Congress of either refusing to seat him or expelling him.
Yes.
So what is the process of seating a senator, and how could they refuse to do that?
Well, the Constitution says the Senate is in charge of the qualifications of its members, and the Senate therefore approves the results of the Senate accepts the results of elections and chooses to make the people that won those elections take the office in the Senate and be able to vote and do everything else senators can do.
So is there a vote among the senators that an incoming senator is proper?
In every session of Congress, generally one of the first things is to vote to accept the results forwarded to the Capitol from the Secretary of State or whoever runs elections in each state as to who does California think should be its senator,
Right.
and who does California think should be its representatives, and who does Ohio think, and who does Indiana think.
Right.
And generally there's a perfunctory motion that's one of the first things that happens. And these are all the people that have officially become representatives or senators. And each house is in charge of its own house. Because under separations of powers, you wouldn't want the president to have authority over Congress. You wouldn't.
Now,
So, broadly speaking, in some vague sense, maybe the Senate could choose not to accept the information which Alabama is going to send to the Capitol that says in the election held on December 12th, Doug Jones received a majority of received the most votes and and should be seated as the junior senator from the state of Alabama.
is it a simple majority of
And
the
that's
Senate
a
that has to vote?
majority of the Senate has to vote.
What if,
And to me, that's weird because
let's say,
who are the senators before the Senate votes who the senators are? I assume they have figured that out.
like in this case, a Democrat won, and the majority of the people in the Senate are Republican.
Well, there'll be 50 senators, Republicans.
Well, presently there's 52, right?
Well, but Luther Strange won't be there. Like, I don't think Luther Strange gets to vote on it.
Okay, so let's say 51 Republican senators say, we do not accept this person.
Then I'm certain the Supreme
Because
Court is going
it's
to
a
have a case to
Democrat.
consider.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, that I think would be bad. I think it would be
Okay.
bad for America.
So that was one thing. The Senate could refuse to seat him. The second thing they said was we could expel him. How could a senator be expelled?
I think it's 2/3. 2/3 of the senators declare a senator is not worthy of the office or shouldn't be in office. They can hold a vote and expel him.
Is that the only way to really get rid of a senator, a sitting senator?
I don't know if it's the only way.
like-
I mean,
is
senators die,
impeachment
so that
apply?
counts. I mean, senator dies,
Oh, yeah.
you've gotten rid of them. I think if a senator ceased to be a resident of the state they were elected from, they would probably cease to be a senator.
Yeah.
If a senator became a citizen of another country, they would probably cease to be a senator.
These have ever happened? I don't think.
I don't think so. I mean, I think the Senate has occasionally expelled people, but it is rare. I know the House has voted to expel people before.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Recently?
Yeah, like the guy, the representative from Illinois. Washington?
Blagovich?
No, he was
senator?
governor. He was governor.
All right. Well, I think I've heard enough about that. Let's see the topic board again. All right. What do you pick next there?
Oh, I'm going to say diplomatic mission for 200.
All right. And what's the question there? Moving embassies to Jerusalem. Okay. So we covered this back in June.
We did.
We did. We talked about
Yes,
this because in June, the president signed a waiver.
He did.
Leaving the embassy where it is.
The American embassy
The American embassy.
in Israel,
Where it is in Tel Aviv.
in Tel Aviv.
But Congress passed, in 1995, they passed the Jerusalem Embassy Act, saying they're going to move this embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem.
Yeah. Unless the president,
And that's the president
for whatever reason, in
stops
his
it every 6 months.
ineffable wisdom, thought that such a move would not be advisable.
So at the time, Congress thought this was a good idea.
No, they thought it was a way to make Bill Clinton, to embarrass Bill Clinton. Yeah.
And so now the president is saying, oh, well, I'm just going to let this ruling by Congress go forward, and everything's going to be fine. So,
He didn't say the second part.
okay.
He doesn't know. He has no
Okay.
idea.
Do you think Congress themselves thinks this is a bad idea of moving the embassy?
I bet a majority of Congress, if you asked them anonymously, would go, yeah, we shouldn't do that.
Then why are they not repealing this law that they made?
Because Congress is dysfunctional and
Okay.
exists mostly to embarrass, to the extent possible, other people.
So this is Congress's fault. I guess.
Well, given that extending the waiver another 6 months is like a piece of paper and 2 sentences, no, it's not just Congress's fault. There's a whole nother person that could have not, that could have signed a waiver.
Well, how is this a
I mean,
bad
even
thing?
the waiver he signed back in June is good until January.
Yeah. But how is it bad that the embassy moves from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem?
Because Jerusalem is a divided city, and it is, anything in Jerusalem is sensitive because everyone is, Israel believes that, God gave them the land of Israel 3,000 years ago.
Right.
The Palestinians believe, our grandfathers and grandfathers before them all lived here. This is our land. We were pushed out of here in a war
The Christians also
50
have,
years ago. The Christians came through during the Crusades and tried to do stuff, and they got, the whole Middle East has just been a battleground for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Right.
And this detente has, been established in Jerusalem, where the city, part of it was in Israel and part of it was not in Israel. And that's one whole part. The other whole part is Jerusalem is just not as safe as Tel Aviv. I mean, there is a lot more friction and everything else there. Why would we want an American embassy?
Is Jerusalem the capital of Israel right now? Or is Tel Aviv the capital?
I don't.
Well, I think it's unsafe.
Yeah,
here
it's unsafe
compared.
here.
I'm not. Jerusalem seems safer than this. Okay, well, we're being told that it's time to wrap up. So let's see how many points you have. I'll give you 200 for that.
Yeah.
400.
Yeah, I remember the senators for 600.
I'll give you 600 points today, Keith. Good job. Our next episode
What about Canadian
is
wildlife? I got
January
Canadian 800
11th,
points. I got 800 points at
2018.
least.
You didn't do anything for the wildlife. You didn't say anything with
I picked the
loon.
wildlife, and I said it was a loon. Why am I picking it if I can't win it? Yeah.
Stay tuned. Next, we have Deep Connect. Then after that, it's Jim Truth Show. What the bleep? So stay tuned for that on KMVT. All right. Good job, Keith.